This might be one of the most incredible multi-tools I've ever taken a look at. That's right, this tiny little box contains 5 tools in one that work together in a way that I've never seen before. Whether you're sanding corners, smoothing out rough material, or even rounding over stock, you're not going to want to miss this amazing 5-in-1 sander. You're also not going to want to miss my jokes from my favorite sander, the Colonel Sanders. So let's take a deep dive into this WORX 5-in-1. So over the years, I've spent thousands on a variety of different types of sanders, everything from Festool to DeWalt to Milwaukee to even Ryobi. And a lot of this has to do with the type of tool I needed for the job, whether it's small, large, or even triangular. But wouldn't it be nice if we had one sander that encompassed all these different styles of sanders into one tool? Well, that's exactly what we're going to take a look at today. So let's not waste any more time and dive right into today's tool. Today, we're taking a look at the WORX 5-in-1. Let's check it out. You know, I really appreciate the outreach that Mr. Sanders did in this time. Did you know they have a shelter? Yeah, it's for battered chickens. So first off, let's see what comes inside this box, which I may or may not have dropped a couple of times. Inside this easy to open box, you're going to find a few items. Let's take a look at what comes inside. So as to be expected with a tool like this, you're going to get a lot of items inside that box. Not only do you get the sander itself, but since it has so many accessories, you get a tool bag to place all those accessories in. And some of these accessories include a 20-volt 2-amp-hour battery, a dust collection chute, as well as a dust collection bag and the instructions. And since this is a 5-in-1 tool, we can expect that there's 5 different sander heads. Let's take a look at those. Now we'll take a deep dive into each one of these pads in just a moment, but I did want to mention it comes with a square pad, round pad, triangular pad, concave pad, as well as a detailed pad. And it even comes with a sandpaper punch for those square pads so you can create your own sandpaper. And it even comes with 3 sandpapers for each pad to get you started, including 60, 80, and 120 grit. And just like with most sanders, all those sanding pads and sandpaper use the hook and loop system. So as you can see, there's a lot that comes with this tool, and if you're curious, yes, all those accessories and the tool itself will fit inside that bag. So now that we understand what comes inside the box, let's take a tour of the tool itself. I remember at my first interview at KFC, they asked me what my short-term and long-term goals were. I told them short-term is to work at KFC, long-term is to not work at KFC. So when you actually get the tool, it comes pre-installed with that round pad. One of the first things I notice about this sander is that it's very well balanced. Without the battery, it stands up on its own, which is perfect for storage. But if we add the battery, however, it is going to slightly tip, which isn't a deal breaker for me, but it's something you should know about. And you saw how slowly that thing tipped over, so with just a little bit of pressure on the top, this thing is very stable. And to show you how closely this thing is to being perfectly balanced, I can actually get it to stand on end if I do a little bit of a balancing act. Let's take a look at the handle of this sander. One of the things I like the most about this sander is its barrel grip. This makes it very easy to hold and gives you a lot of control with the sander. And it's this type of handle which I think will prevent a lot of fatigue versus your other sanders which require a firm grip. Now you may have noticed there's a couple of buttons on the top of the handle. These serve 2 different purposes. Let's talk about those. The button towards the front of the sander is the power button. With just a simple flick with your thumb, you can turn this sander on and off easily. The second button, which is towards the rear of the sander, is actually a latch that allows you to switch out the sanding pads, which we'll get into in just a moment. If we move our way towards the bottom of the handle, this is obviously where the battery is attached. Let's take a closer look at that. One of the things I really like about this battery is it does have a 5-bar readout, which is a lot different than most of your standard tools, which only have 3 or 4. Having this little bit of extra precision may give you the assurance that you have the power you need. Right below that battery is the dust collection chute, and there's actually 2 options for this tool. You can either use a dust collection bag or attach a shop vac using the included accessories. The dust collection bag easily slides into place by squeezing the sides, and it has a friction fit. The vacuum adapter I'm a little less impressed with. As you can see, it's got some thin plastic and it's already warped, but it does slide into the back of the tool with that same friction fit. And the dust collection port does come with an adapter so that it can accept 32 and 35 millimeter hoses, which means it's compatible with most of your smaller shop vacs like Festool. If we look in front of the dust collection on the knuckle guard, you'll notice there's a red dial going from 1 to 6. This is a variable speed sander with 6 different speeds to help you tackle all of your different sanding needs. And I'll have to say, I'm really quite impressed with how quiet this sander is. Even at its highest speed, it just barely hums. In fact, when I compare it to my DeWalt, there's a distinct difference between the noise output of these 2 machines. Now that we've taken a complete tour of this tool, let's give it away with a battery attached and the dust collection bag. And you'll see that the WORX comes in at about 3 pounds 9 ounces, while the DeWalt with the same size battery and dust collection bag comes in at 2 pounds 14 ounces. So it's a little bit heavier, but I think that's to be expected with the versatility of this tool and the comfortable barrel grip. Now that we understand what's going on with this sander, let's start to talk about some of the different types of sanders we can convert this tool to. You know, before I started working at KFC, I was still in the chicken industry. Yeah, I created a dating service for chickens. Didn't last long though. I struggled to make hens meet. So this is what makes this sander stand out from any other sander I've ever seen, the ability to switch out this tool to 5 different types of sanders. So is it hard to switch out the heads on this random orbit sander? Well, let's find out. To do that, we first need to take a look at the top of the barrel grip. So we know there's a power button on this handle, but there's also a latch. To change out the heads on this sander, we need to release that latch. Once that latch is released, you'll notice there's a lock and unlock arrow on the very tip. To remove the sanding pad, we're going to rotate that latch in the direction of the unlock arrow. And this will just take about 5 rotations until the sanding pad falls from the bottom of the tool. And if we look at the sanding pad, you can see how this works. In the very center of the pad, you can see there's a small hole where the bolt on the tool screws directly into the pad. And if we look outside that hole, you'll see there's a small gear that rotates in an orbital motion. This is the gear that locks inside that tool and gives it the rotation. And you'll notice that 3 of the 5 pads all have that gear locking system, including the rectangular pad as well as the triangular pad. So how do we reattach one of the sanding pads? Well, it really couldn't be easier. Simply place the tool with the latch released right on top of that pad and rotate it in the lock direction. And after about 5 rotations, you can flip that latch down and lock it into position. And just like that, you've reattached and secured that sanding pad. But let's take a look at the square pad and the triangular pad, which function just a little bit differently. Let's first take a look at the square pad. Now the square pad does indeed come with some hook and loop sandpaper, but you don't need hook and loop sandpaper for this pad. If we flip that pad around, you'll see that there's 2 spring-loaded metal tabs on each side of the pad. When these tabs are released, they open up a clamp on either side of the pad where you can insert some store-bought sandpaper. Simply take your sandpaper and slide it underneath each clamp on either side and lock it into place with the metal tab. And just like that, you have a square random orbit sanding pad from store-bought sandpaper, but it goes a little bit further. Since we're using store-bought sandpaper, there's now no dust collection with this pad, but that's where this cutter comes into play. By referencing the lip on this cutter to the edge of your sanding pad, you can apply slight pressure to create holes in your sandpaper, instantly restoring any dust collection you may have lost with that store-bought sandpaper. You'll also notice with the square pad, you'll find 4 alignment pegs. These pegs reference 4 holes on the bottom of the sander so that you can have perfect alignment once you go to tighten this pad down. Next, let's take a look at the triangular pad. On the triangular pad, you'll once again notice it has 4 alignment pegs, but you'll also notice a 5th on the very back. And just like with the square pad, these are used to perfectly align your sander to the pad itself. But this triangular pad has a little bit more functionality. To understand that, we need to look at the other 2 accessories. If we look at the very tip of the triangular pad, you'll notice that there's 2 peg holes along with the screw hole. It's these holes that are meant to be used with the detail sander as well as the curved sander. Let's first take a look at the detail sander. On the back of the detail sander, you'll find 2 pegs that slide right into the tip of that triangular pad. Once in place, you can grab your Phillips head screwdriver and tighten the screw that's on the top of the detail sander. And just like that, you've created a nose for this sander to get into those very hard to reach spaces. But let's take a look at the last sanding pad, which I call the edge sander. This sander has 2 rails on the side with a bridge in between. This allows your sander to perfectly cradle those round pieces. And it's attached to that triangular pad in the same fashion that that detail sander was. If we turn it around, you'll see that there's 2 pegs as well as a screw hole. By once again placing the 2 pegs into the tip of that triangular pad, you can tighten it in place with the screwdriver. And with this attachment in place, you can easily cradle any of your rounder surfaces. Now that we have a better idea of how to attach all 5 different components, let's do a little testing. You know, on my days off, I would play in a band that used to play in the lobby of that same KFC. Yeah, the colonel used to dress up like a chicken and he was our drummer. He used to always forget his drumstick, so he had to wing it. Now, I'm not going to bore you to death by watching me sand, but I did want to show you how each of these 5 components work with this sander. And also, since I'm a little bit concerned about this dust collection hose attachment, I wanted to see how well it stays in the machine. And luckily, I've got an old Adirondack chair that can stand to be refinished, so we're going to test it out on it. So let's attach our 5-inch round sanding pad, add some dust collection, and see how well this thing does. And for this, I'm sanding one of the arms with 80 grit sandpaper. And you'll notice here that that dust collection port immediately falls out of the back of the sander. And when I tried to replace it into the back of the sander, you can see there was some damage on the very corner, and this thing won't even stay in. So I quickly replaced it with that sanding bag so that I could get on with testing. And I'll have to say the dust collection with this bag is comparable to other sanders, which is adequate. But the real benefit I see with this sander is the barrel grip, as the balance is very nice once you get to sanding. And don't let the looks of this chair arm deceive you. This chair was extremely weathered and the surface is very smooth. Now let's test out the square pad by sanding down the other arm. So with just a flip of the lever and a twisting of the arm, I was able to easily switch out those pads. I have to say I really like this larger square pad. It has a little bit more surface area and you can remove a little bit more material quickly. And since there's a little bit more contact with the square pad, there's a little bit more resistance, but that barrel grip makes it very easy. And once again, a nice smooth surface just after a little bit of work. But let's add that triangular pad to get to some of the spots we couldn't get to with those larger pads. And although I had to fight a couple of bolts here, I was able to sneak into some of those crevices to get it cleaned up. Since we have our triangular pad attached, we can now move on to our next attachment, which is a detail sander. And this is where that profile of the sander really comes into play. It allows me to slide the sander in between each one of these chair slats and get into all the grooves. And this is probably one of the most impressive pieces I've seen with this sander yet, as I've never had an electric sander like this that can get into cracks. But let's test out the fifth and final attachment, which is what I call the edge sander. Now this sanding attachment was a little bit more difficult to use and it felt like the sander was fighting me the whole way. But it did do a pretty good job smoothing out the edges, but it did tend to miss some of the center. And I guess it's probably good that this will most likely be my least used attachment. Well, if I had to give this sander a grade, I'd have to give it a B, and there's a couple of reasons for that. Let's start off with the bad. The dust collection is just adequate and like any other sander, and the dust collection hose gets a flat out F. I also wasn't particularly impressed with the edge sander or the round sander. I think this is more of a marketing gimmick so that they can say it's a 5-in-1 tool. But it does have some redeeming qualities, one of which is that barrel grip. It really gives you a lot of control of the sander and prevents a lot of fatigue. I also think that the 5-inch round sander and the square sander are just as good as any other battery operated sanders out there. And the triangular sander is just as good as well. However, I'm just not a fan of the triangular sander. But that detailed sander with its low profile is excellent. In fact, I would probably pay the entire price just for this sander alone. And the ability to have all of these sanders in a small little package like this is something that you're just not going to find in any other sander. Well, I really appreciate you joining me today on taking a deep dive into this 5-in-1 WORX sander. And if you haven't already, do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment, and share this video, as it really does help. And if you haven't checked out my website, go to FlynnDoggWoodwork.com. There you can find all sorts of fun woodworking accessories like all the t-shirts that I wear in my videos, and I've even released some new models. And just like all my videos, if this sander interests you, I'll leave links in the description below so that you can go check it out for yourself. And finally, if you'd like to support the channel further, check out my channel memberships where you can get early access to all my videos as well as one member video a week. Until next time, take care as always. All right, let's get it. Did you know Jeffrey Dahmer only killed one track saw when he was on his murdering spree? Yeah, I guess he wasn't fond of fast food. All right, let's try this one. You know, my doctor told me I should be eating at Burger King or McDonald's more often. Well, actually he told me I shouldn't eat at KFC anymore, but I heard what he was saying. All right, last try. So what's the difference between an artist and a KFC chicken bucket? Well, a KFC chicken bucket can feed a family of 4.